Hello everybody and welcome to the Darlington Raceway for the 2006 Southern 500 and the opener in our 2006 Chase for the Cup. It is an all Hendrick Motorsports front row, your regular season champion Jimmie Johnson leads us to the green flag alongside his four-time champion teammate, the 24 of Jeff Gordon. And we are underway here in the Southern 500. Who is going to get it done? We're going to find out, but over this chase is all about consistency. You need to be strong through all 10 races to be able to be crowned a champion for this season. But it's Jimmie Johnson leading the opening lap of racing here in the Southern 500 over Jeff Gordon and Matt Kenseth. Kenseth, of course, won the spring race here earlier this season, but now Jimmie Johnson is under fire from the 16 of Greg Biffle. Matt Kenseth's teammate here on lap 23, the battle for the lead. Johnson and Biffle with a fellow Chase contender about to go one lap down. The 99 of Carl Edwards in big trouble here as the leaders work their way through 3 and 4, and then Greg Biffle in the 16 has taken the lead here in the Southern 500 lap 24 and laps his teammate of Carl Edwards. Now cautions come out because Travis Quaffle turned Sterling Marlin. They came up the track, got some damage to both Jeff Green and Carl Edwards. We missed the end of it. My apologies on that one. Just accidentally skipped forward a little bit too fast, but that's why we are under yellow. And now it's the 16 of Greg Biffle and the 48 of Jimmie Johnson leading us back to the green flag here on lap 40 with 52 to go in stage 1. David Stremme in the 40 right now is the only car out of the race with a mechanical failure. He will finish in 39th place tonight. So now the 16 of Greg Biffle with a great restart once again is able to establish himself as the leader, easily clearing Ryan Newman and Jimmie Johnson for the race lead. So here we are on the last lap of stage 1 here in the Southern 500. Has been just pure domination by the 16 of Greg Biffle. Going to leave just about 15 cars on the lead lap as through turn 4 for the final time. Greg Biffle dominates and wins stage 1 here in the Southern 500. Following him home in second is defending Southern 500 winner Ryan Newman. Third place will go to Jimmie Johnson in the 48. Jeff Gordon will be 4th place. Matt Kenseth rounds out the top 5. And then Denny Hamlin 6th. Mark Martin 7th. 8th place goes to Casey Kane. 9th will go to Reed Sorensen in the 41. And Jeff Burton will get the final stage point in his number 31 Chevrolet. So Greg Biffle easily dominates and picks up the stage 1 win here in the Southern 500. And I'm going to be back underway in the second stage of racing here on lap number 96. Lap 97, my correction. So now it's Greg Biffle once again clearing himself for the race lead on the restart, just being able to outdo Jimmie Johnson on the outside lane as well as his Hendrick teammate of Jeff Gordon. And Biffle will now look to drive away with the lead here in the Southern 500 to possibly his second win of the season. Of course, Biffle just came up short, missing the chase by a good margin of points. Just some bad luck. The final 6-7 races just completely took him out of a position to make the chase, and now he's got to fight. So now Biffle led the way until on lap 90-8. Here comes the 48 of Jimmie Johnson on the inside lane. Jimmie, your regular season champion, wants the lead back. Johnson and that 48 team have been just incredible this season. So consistent. Tied for the most wins on the campaign with 4. Tied with Kurt Busch for that category. Just so strong everywhere we go. Has been able to stay out of trouble a lot of these races, and that's what was clutch in him winning the regular season title. And now he's battling Greg Biffle for the race lead as Johnson continues to look for that elusive Darlington race win. Although he's led so many laps here at this racetrack over the past couple of seasons, he has not been able to pull it into victory lane at the end of these races. Will today be Jimmie Johnson's day? Not at the moment, as Greg Biffle is able to retain the lead at the momentum on the outside lane and drive away from the 48 of Jimmie Johnson. Now lap 140, caution is out. Caution's not out. Dale Jr.'s got the 8's going to go sliding. Hang on to it, Dale Jr.'s. What a save by Dale Jr. right in front of the 22 Dave Blaney. Almost causes a big crash and a big impact behind us. There goes Jeff Burton. Major chase implications as Jeff Burton gets collected in this dust up between Dale Jr. and Dave Blaney. Burton is a huge checkup to avoid crashing, so he goes all the way down the bottom of the racetrack and then comes up and gets tagged by Reed Sorensen. Rookie mistake, and destroys the 31 of Jeff Burton. Heavy damage, and our first chase contender to have major issues from a crash will be Jeff Burton on lap 141 of the Southern 500. He will still be in the race, however. Now he will get back underway on lap 145. It is Matt Kenseth leading us to the green alongside defending champion Ryan Newman. So now Kenseth will take the race lead for the first time tonight as Matt Kenseth tries to get his third win of the 2006 season. Of course, he also came up just short of making the chase. He needed a miracle to happen at Daytona, and of course that was not the case. He still had a good finish though, but it was not what he needed to make his way in the chase for the Cup. So he's going to try to prove a point here and win some races in this chase for the Cup on lap 150. That 48 car. Here comes Jimmie Johnson once again. 48 to the lead for the third time tonight as Jimmie Johnson sails by Matt Kenseth on the outside lane. And the Lowe's Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports is back in front here at Darlington. And he's taking Casey Kane to the front with him. Now cautions out the speedway. Jimmie Johnson, your leader, narrowly avoids disaster here on lap 162 as Kyle Petty, Bobby Labonte, and Elliott Sadler go crashing into turn one, and Jimmie Johnson barely escapes clobbering these guys and ending his day. So very, very fortunate that he was able to avoid that. So we get back underway here on lap 166. Still a good 60 to go in the stage of J.J. Yaley's upside down. He phases together with Travis Quaffle on the restart, and Yaley just starts barrel rolling end over end over end. He is completely destroyed out of this race, as is Travis Quaffle from a typical NR2003 restart glitch. Huge crash. Now we will try to get this back underway once again on lap 170. This time it's Jimmie Johnson and Casey Kane on the front row. And do keep note, two chase drivers have crashed out of this race, Carl Edwards and Kevin Harvick. Something happened under that last caution for the Kyle Petty incident that took both of them out. Carl Edwards will finish 35th, Kevin Harvick 34th. Our first two chase drivers to DNF out of the Southern 500, and they will be way behind the 8 ball to try to find their way to win the championship. So 30 cars left in the race, and here comes the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. What a move out of turn 4. Got a huge run to the inside and is pulled right up alongside our leader, Jimmie Johnson, here on that 171. So don't count out Dale Earnhardt Jr. and that Budweiser number 8 having one hell of a run here to start this chase for the Cup. Of course, was so strong at Daytona. Last episode, the regular season finale, just got caught up in the Denny Hamlin crash. Cost him probably win a couple of playoff points there. We'll see if that comes back to bite him as Dale Jr. leads for the first time in the Southern 500 here in Stage 2. And the 12 of Ryan Newman has blown an engine. The defending race winner and defending champion is out of this race on that 175. And Ryan Newman's horrible luck this season continues. And Junior trying to hold the lead, but he's now under fire from the dominant car of the night so far. The 16 of Greg Biffle on that 182, charging back to the outside of Earnhardt for the lead. Here comes the Biff, his teammate Mark Martin right there in tow, as is Casey Kane and Denny Hamlin. And Greg Biffle shoots his way back into the race lead on the outside lane. And the 16 Ford for Roush Racing back in control here in the Southern 500. But not for much longer. His teammate Mark Martin is now putting pressure on him as these guys go to put Matt Kenseth one lap down in 13th place. Now 3 wide for the lead into turn 3. Some incredible racing here at Darlington. Kenseth sent it in there knowing he's got to fight to stay on this lead lap, and he did, and it worked. And that's going to get Mark Martin the lead for the first time here in the Southern 500 on lap 205. Mark Martin leads the way. A little under 20 to go in Stage 2 here in Darlington as he continues to battle Greg Biffle for the lead here on lap 206. And they try to find their way past the lap car here, the 41 of Reed Sorensen, who Matt Kenseth just passed for 12th position on the racetrack. And Greg Biffle finds his way back into the race lead here in Darlington, going around Mark Martin in lap traffic. Now lap 212, cautions out on the racetrack for a big wreck. The 55 of Michael Waltrip was upside down, barrel rolling end over end through turn 1. A hellacious crash, and Michael Waltrip and the 55 is out of this race after a horrible crash in turn 1, our second flip of the night. Now back underway. It's going to be a short, about 8-lap shootout to end this stage. Greg Biffle going to restart in the lead. Mark Martin right there behind him. And Biffle is going to clear his teammate in the 6th. And Biffle establishing control, looking like he's in a great spot here to sweep the stages here in Darlington. That's exactly what he's going to do here. As through 3 and 4, it is going to be a dominant performance from Greg Biffle as he sweeps the stages here in Darlington. Biffle wins Stage 2. Mark Martin makes it a Roush 1-2. Casey Kane 3rd. Hamlin, Gordon the top 5, followed by Johnson followed by Junior, Matt Kenseth, Robbie Gordon, Kyle Busch, and Ken Schrader. For some reason, Jimmie Johnson, after the last caution, has found himself 2 laps down. Very confusing situation there for one of the best cars all night long. So another caution came out here. Looks like Denny Hamlin's caught some damage. Some other cars as well here. So something awry there as Biffle had driven away to begin stage 2 and was completely gone. So I get back underway here. Going to be 102 laps to go. Mark Martin leading Jeff Gordon here at Darlington. Mark Martin, of course, has been winless all season. Hasn't won since the season finale a season ago at Homestead Miami Speedway. Going to try to change that here today as he's got a huge run on the outside of Jeff Gordon. Here comes Mark Martin, a massive run to the outside, but Jeff Gordon hanging tough on the inside, and Jeff Gordon will now be your new leader here in Darlington as he leads for the first time tonight with just 101 to go in the Southern 500. Can the 4-time champ get a second win of the season? Caution's out on the racetrack. Tony Stewart is upside down as he got destroyed by Dale Jarrett down the front straightaway. He landed on his roof, slides all the way up into the outside wall of turn 1, hits it hard, and then continues careening down the track on his roof, and finally comes to a rest in the middle of turn 1. Wow. What a wild start to stage 3 here, and Tony Stewart will now become the 3rd playoff driver out of this race, joining Carl Edwards and Kevin Harvick in the garage. Stewart will finish in 28th after that hellacious crash. Stewart is out, not the start he wanted to for the chase for the cup, and now Mark Martin is taking the lead back away from Jeff Gordon here on lap 272, but don't count the 24. Gordon right back to the inside of Mark Martin. Here we go, some great racing for the lead tonight here in Darlington. Now Jeff Gordon trying to take it away from Mark Martin with just 95 laps to go. Gordon to the inside, gets on into turn 1 and 2, but he can't quite clear the 6, who gets a huge run out of turn 2, and Mark Martin will be back out front here now with just 94 to go. Now we are back here, continuing on, 87 to go. Mark Martin hanging lead, but a huge run from Jeff Gordon on the outside lane as the 6 gets stuck behind the slow lap cars of Kyle Petty and Dale Jarrett. Now Jarrett decides to go high, and both your leaders are blocked. Don't count out Greg Biffle and Dale Jr., who now re-entered the picture in 3rd and 4th. And now it is a 4-car battle for the lead, currently held by Jeff Gordon here in Darlington. Biffle, though, right there behind him, and here comes the 16. Greg Biffle, the dominant car of the night, back to the inside of Jeff Gordon here with just 83 laps to go. Biffle to the inside, and he'll drive his way to the race lead. Greg Biffle back out front once again here in the Southern 500. Such a fast race car. Really good on the long runs, and now back to the front over Jeff Gordon. But the cautions come out once again. Trouble. Kyle Busch is in at the 5. Gets wrecked with Dave Blaney. Major chase implications for Kyle Busch, who came in here as the 2 seed, is now going to be in big trouble, crashing out of this race, joining Stewart, Edwards, and Harvick in the garage. 4 chase drivers out, 6 remain. As you get back underway here on lap 309, 59 laps to go. It is Mark Martin and Greg Biffle, the Roush teammates, dueling for the lead. They're almost 3 wide. Mark Martin almost got the wall, but Greg Biffle is able to clear everyone and continue to be in control of the Southern 500 here in Darlington as he leads his Roush teammates of Mark Martin and Matt Kenseth. But don't count the 6 though. Mark Martin, a huge run on the outside lane. Here comes the 6 once again. What a move. And Mark Martin's going to come sailing through on the outside of Greg Biffle, and he is back in the lead here with just 57 laps to go. But now Biffle gets back ahead of Mark Martin. Just that ensuing lap as they continue to battle, but now Biffle will establish control of this race. Biffle, your new leader, once again here in Darlington, and then a caution came out, so here we are with just 15 to go. 6 cars on the lead lap. Biffle the leader, and look at Schrader. There's a lot of guys, you know, the order's all mixed up here throughout the field. All lead lap cars are not equal to each other, so it's not really a fair restart. So because of that, I decided to manually throw a caution here. Because of that issue, trying to fix it, but it ends up not fixing it whatsoever. As now it is just Matt Kenseth and Mark Martin way ahead of the rest of the field here with just 9 laps to go in the Southern 500s. And Mark Martin now leads this race and is in a great spot to win this race because of, you know, the weird glitches on the restarts and maybe a mistake by me throwing the caution on that last one there. But either way, here we are. 8 laps to go. Mark Martin's leading the 16, and Greg Biffle's coming down pit road. The dominant car of the day with a major late race problem is going to choke him away the race win. Now white flag in the air, final lap here in the Southern 500. Can Mark Martin hold off his teammate Matt Kenseth for the win, who's trying to go for the Darlington sweep? It's going to be close. Looks like Kenseth's just not going to have enough momentum. he'll stay behind and be a good teammate as down the back straightaway through 3 and 4 of the final time. Roush Racing going to make a statement today, having the dominant car, who's not going to win the race, but still going to come home with a 1-2 finish as Mark Martin wins the Southern 500 over Matt Kenseth and Jeff Gordon. You see everyone else now coming across the finish line. Casey Kane and Dale Jr. around the top 5. Schrader comes home 6th, and the car's a lap down. Hamlin in 7th, Biffle in 8th, Jimmy Johnson in 9th, and Joe Nemechek rounds out the top 10. So Mark Martin wins the Southern 500, leading just 34 laps, earning his 39th career win, tying him for 15th on the all-time wins list. And this is his 4th career win here at Darlington. What a drive from Mark Martin. He wins the Southern 500 to get a strong start to the chase. You will see the final race results there on the left side of your screen. Pause and scroll through if you'd like. In a few short moments, you'll see the updated standings for your chase for the Cup drivers after the Southern 500. So here are your updated chase standings going into next episode's race at California. Jimmy Johnson still is your points leader. He only lost 1 point. He's now 19 points above Mark Martin, who jumps all the way from 10th to 2nd with the big win. Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch, and Dale Jr. currently round out the top 5, all pretty much within a race of the cut line. Then after that, Kyle Busch, Jeff Burton, you really start to get in the territory of these guys that really need to do a lot of work if they want to win the title. Kyle Busch there in 6th, Jeff Burton 7th, Stewart 8th, Harvick drops all the way to 9th, and now Carl Edwards 76 points out, 10th. Last of the chase drivers, his work cut out for him, but it looks like it is Jimmy Johnson's championship to lose going into California next week. So congrats to Mark Martin picking up the Southern 500 win, and as always, when we conclude these episodes, I want to give a special shout out to my channel members. So thank you very much to Brenda Breen and Jeremy Isley. I really appreciate your guys' support. It means a lot to me and helps me and this channel continue to grow, produce some awesome content. Now pushing towards 2,000 subscribers. So those of you that are watching this video and are not subscribed, please do subscribe. It's completely free. It only takes a couple of seconds, and I would really, really appreciate it. And until next episode, when we have racing from the California Speedway, I hope you all have a good one.